All right, folks, Honda Monkey 2022 stock front sprockets, 14 teeth. We're going to put in a 13 tooth, 17 millimeter, 420 pitch. If you want to look one up on eBay, they're under $10. Got to take this cover off first. Let's do that. 2 bolts. Oh,
there it is. It finally
came over. I gotta go get new tools. So
we'll start this back.
We will start this over again. Don't use that tool unless you're strong like me. Yeah. It's an 8 millimeter, by the way. We're thinking hand tight. You know.
Probably could put Loctite on that and hand tighten it.
You can probably, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll Loctite it. It kind of slips out of here weird. And then there's like some shit behind it that you don't want to. Just kind of take note of how this is set up. It's got little dummy pins. Hard to mess it up, but mine fell off when I did mine. I also had a lot of beach sand back here.
You got, I think you have more than what I.
Hopefully. Oh, we don't need that. Okay. Loose. Loose. Okay. One bolt.
Those are Loctite.
No, because they're sheer. They're not really good.
Oh, it had the blue on the front of it.
Oh, did it?
It does. Look.
Oh, that might not be Loctite. That might have been a symbol saying that they were checked.
Oh.
But we can Loctite it if you want. I didn't put it on mine because it's got rotational.
Yeah, we're good.
So this is a little key. I used the original key on mine. I also used the original bolts. And then this should just slide right off. Let's show them the 14 tooth symbol on there so they know that a stock Honda Monkey has 14 teeth. So don't buy a 14 tooth thinking that you're going to do a Grom swap or whatever I did the first time. .420, 13 tooth, 17 millimeter if you're ordering it. Now this was actually kind of a pain in the butt doing this the first time. Oh, wow.
Everything's just easier.
Everything's easy the second time. So that created a lot of chain tension here, if you notice, or slack, I should say. So the next thing we got to do after we finish putting this in is another thing on the 13 tooth. It's really kind of tight getting those in there. I'll show you why here. So this outer one's not so bad because you don't got the chain in your way. When I did mine, it seemed like the chain on this bolt or nut or whatever you want to call them, bolts I guess, was really close. So what I did is I tightened this one away from the chain first, and then I rolled the bike forward a little bit, and then I worked on this one. It doesn't really seem to interfere once it's installed, but it just was weird doing it on top of the chain. So I'm gonna do the same thing this time. And these really don't need to be super tight. Just a little bit. Almost just wrench tight there. And then I'll roll it forward just a bit. And we'll tighten that back one up. Not too tight. This has got not really any forces gonna pull that out. It's all sheer. So We'll cover this back up because we're done in there. And just make sure you don't lose that little piece because it makes it a pain in the butt too. Let's see.
This covers the wires.
Okay, so there's one. Let me just hand tighten that. Not even hand tighten, just get it started. Okay, that's just started. I'll find the bolt I just lost down here. We'll just get this one started. And this one, just a really good hand tight, should hold her on. Let's see, get that hand tightened on there. Kind of awkward with this tool. If you're not really strong like me, you might want to go get a wrench and put a little torque on there, but that's good. You can need a 19 on one side and I think a 14 on the other. So you gotta just loosen. God damn. Gotta loosen that axle up. There we go. Okay. And then, okay, so I should have brought my measuring tape. But what we can do is we can count turns. So what we want to do is we want to move this out. Basically moves our wheel back, and we'll start with the 8 right here, so we can count whenever that, every time that 8 comes around. We're going to wind it back because we want to unscrew that rear to stretch it out. So every time we see that 8, we're going to count 1, 2, we'll start with 3 turns. That might be it. So let me come on to the other side. Same thing, we're going to get that 8 for a reference. We're going to screw it out. 1, 2, 3 times and check the chain tension. And we're not going to measure it or anything.
A little bit, yeah.
Let's go 1 turn and see what that does. So the 8's on top, 1 turn here, same thing on the other side, 8's on top for a reference, 1 turn, and let's see what that did. That feels right to me.
Yeah, that's better.
So let's turn our wrenches back around, and I'll tighten that axle up, and this you want pretty tight. Well, you want this pretty tight. I'm not gonna lie. You don't want your axle coming loose while you're riding. So get that nice and tight. And I'm tightening on both sides here. That's got to do it. So that's the sprocket change.